Hey everybody, my name is Theokinawakid here, and today I'm gonna talk to you about the new Nickelodeon Netflix series Glitch Text. And let's just say I'm a pretty good fan about this. I am a great supporter of this series, and I am loving this series so far. It's a great show with lively characters, great action, great animation. It's overall pretty good, fun, sort of exciting, sort of great, feel good, sort of. Damn, I was using that word a lot. Um, it's overall a great series. Basically, if you want to boil down to its base elements, it's Ghostbusters meets um the actual Men in Black, but with video game characters. I know that seems kind of, you know, uncreative, but trust me, it's actually pretty interesting in of itself, and the characters, they make this series really good and make this series a joy to watch, really. But you tell that okay, yeah, tongue tie again. But you have to ask yourself, what's the show about? Well, Glitch Text basically tells the story of two people in particular. Five, which I'm gonna say this now, he, being a Latino character, he has the most idiotic name I ever heard of an animated series featuring primarily human characters. I mean, he's not a robot. He's not a monster or anything. He's just a regular kid who just happened to be named after a number. Okay, if you're not an anime character or like I said, like an animal or cyborg or something or robot, why would you name your kid Five? Okay, okay, I get being off on a non-traditional bent when it comes to names, so come on. But there's also Miko, who is by far one of my favorite new waifus ever. And no, not just because she just happened to be a cute Japanese girl who with hips for days, who's literally neon colored in clothing and outfits. But yeah, she's a fun, lively, energetic, unapologetic, and just in your face sort of character in a good way. So what exactly this is about? Well, basically it tells a tale of both Five and Miko as just regular gamers in this. Well, I'm guessing a Pacific Coast area town because the town they live in is called Bailey, but Bailey, Oregon, Bailey, Washington. It doesn't really. They didn't really explain the state, but pictures a city in the West Coast. Man, what's with West Coast cities and being super weird and shit animation? Like, first Twin Peaks, then Gravity Falls, then this. Man, alright. Basically, this show features Five, who basically works at his grandparents' food truck, which is a combination of Chinese and Mexican cuisine. So I'm guessing he's of Chinese and Mexican descent. I'm guessing. So basically, he's invited to a massive tournament um, held by Hitomi Industries. Hitomi Industries or Hitomi Entertainment, or I might be butchering the name and mispronouncing the name, or flat out just getting the name wrong, but I'll correct that later. They're basically like a AAA video game developer, like in the real world, like Blizzard, Konami, Capcom, whatever, or Nintendo. But here's the thing. You know how like most AAA developers tend to have shitty things about them, like microtransactions, loot boxes, faulty and unfinished games, poor work environments, sexism in the workplace. That's usual jizz. But here's the thing. Instead of just having just those as problems of a big video game company, uh, their consoles tend to have a bit of a glitchy side to it. As in, every console or software they make tends to have a glitch that literally just have all their video game property characters and stuff pop out of video games and cause havoc as literally hard light solid glitches that could just enter the real world and wreak havoc and destruction, and who knows what are messed up things it could do. Like, yeah, in case you haven't noticed, the whole premise of, oh yeah, video game characters come into life and wreak havoc on the real world, isn't exactly new in animation. In fact, it's actually one of the oldest video game animation tropes since, I don't know, like the invention of video games in the late 70s, early 70s and late 70s, early 80s. But like, okay, besides the albeit not so original premise of video game characters coming to life and basically beat the crap out of the ordinary citizens. It has a very interesting twist to it, where basically one company who's responsible for all this has a more or less like a secret underground task force dealing with this sort of stuff. And of course, they had to keep the masquerade a secret, try to keep this on the down low. So it's like, oh crap, if people find out our company's products create monsters for on a daily basis, we might be out of business. So literally, it's like, I'm thinking they're just rich enough to, as a company, just like, yeah, let's make a task force specializing in this while also making them work at our stores, like Apple Store. Yeah, that won't be questionable at all. So, yeah. And they even kind of have it where some of the upper management, they reference that in one of the first few episodes, that some of the upper management have some ulterior motives. So it was like, kind of giving the feels of, hey kids, don't work for a multi-conglomerate. It doesn't end well for you. Join socialism or I don't know. Oh boy. Anyways, point is, evil big corporations are bad. In fact, most AAA developers are bad. Mainly because they all suck in their own unique ways. Don't believe me? Check out Fiery Joker's channel and basically watch anything of his during the top 10 list of Blizzard shitty things that they done, or like top 10 Konami mistakes or Capcom mistakes. Yeah, go check out Fiery Joker's videos for that if you want to know about like how video game companies suck in general in a top 10 list format. So I highly recommend go to his channel and just kind of check that out if you want to learn more about how the modern video game industry kind of sucks now. Man, I hope he doesn't, it's like, who's this random black kid or rather black guy um, plugging or advertising, just referencing me for some reason, I don't know. Basically, in terms of like actual plot, it's kind of like the whole, okay, kids from ordinary lives, but from two separate ends of the spectrum, sort of, go into this tournament. They discover the masquerade of, oh crap, big corporation has a task force dealing with supernatural or extra normal stuff, and they basically got accidentally roped into it, and also basically they became part of the company. They became glitch sticks, beginners, and they fight evil glitches. So yeah, one thing I like about this game, and to just so we're clear, I'm what you might call a casual gamer. Okay, it's not even that. It's just that I know a lot of video game lore, backstory, and production of video games, and the history of video games, as well being a self-proclaimed fighting game expert. But here's the thing. Outside of fighting games and Pokemon, I'm not exactly much of a gamer myself because, to be honest, I kind of suck at most games. Not gonna lie, I suck at most games outside of fighting games and Pokemon games. So, yeah. But my personal gamer credibility aside, I appreciate this series because it actually does really good work at actually having like video game references be part of the story without being jarring as fuck. Like, how like a lot of people have video games, or at least most anime shows that parody video games tend to have that jarring effect of, that's kind of obvious, or man, this is dated, or okay, why have they references now? Like, okay, literally, it seems kind of like half baked. It's like, oh, let's break in the references because we need to make this series relevant for some reason. Now, this series like creatively uses these references as part of their plots. Like, seeing how, like I said before, this big company who I'm just gonna name Hitomi from now on because I forgot the damn name. Um, they basically have more or less a library that's very similar to like classic Nintendo games or various other games from various other companies like Capcom or Konami, where basically is like, dude, like in the fourth episode, they literally reference Castlevania with like all the tropes and everything. They even reference the Dracula quote in that, or just parried the fuck out of it. But yeah, they call it Castle Stein. Creative and original, while also being a reference. So, with that being said, there's also other games like Chomp Kitty, which is a parody of Pac-Man. There's also other games, including like, I believe an Ice Climbers game, but it was like with a walrus as a villain. Yeah, they reference Ice Climbers for fuck's sakes. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Where like, okay, getting to the other characters and all this. Getting to the more in depth with the characters. I mean, we have basically. I love how the characters also like very creatively designed and also surprisingly diverse. So we have five again, stupid name, who's Mexican and Asian descent, mainly Mexican Chinese. Then we have Miko, who's Eurasian. Her father's white and her mom's Japanese, and she's come from a huge family of four. And she's the middle child, obviously, but you know. And then we have Phil. Phil is their reluctant boss, really. He's kind of like, man, I'm getting too old for this shit. But he's basically kind of like a pretty chill dude who's basically, you know, like he's chill enough, but he's kind of like that boss where it's like he's mellow, but he's like kind of a hard ass when you fuck up. So yeah, Phil's pretty cool, and he's trying to keep everything in order at the Glitch Tech's headquarters and stuff. And then there's, I wouldn't say a villain, but he's also the antagonist and sort of the catalyst for half the shit. And that's Mitch Williams. Mitch Williams is sort of the frenemy to the new Glitch Techs and 5 and Miko because he's literally the one of the top rated video game players in the country. But here's the thing. The guy's an asshole. Like, he's one of those asshole coworkers and mentors who basically is like all about himself and more or less not so subtly cause half the shit in this series to go awry because, you know, he's an egotist who just loves everything about his own self-image and, you know, being the top gamer in the world or top gamer in the country, and he has to get all the highest scores because, oh yeah, the glitch tags, when they defeat an enemy and, you know, capture the glitches and stuff, they also get high scores from that, like an actual video game. So he's like the high score in both a glitch tag member as well as a video game player. So it's like, okay, so he's like the asshole coworker that nobody likes, but he's like the top of his field, and you know that basic shonen anime protagonist sort of enemy or rival. He's like, oh, he's kind of like Gary Oak, only he's black with a coiffed hair and, you know, British accent for some reason. I'm thinking he might be black British. I don't know, but yeah, Mitch Williams, asshole frenemy and basically flawed mentors. Like, I used to look up to you, man. Like, this is 5 talking. It's like, I used to look up to you. It's like, well, you can never meet your heroes. Especially asshole gamers who just all about themselves. Dude, most male gamers in fiction are kind of assholes. And that's gonna lie. So, with that being said, there's that. And, again, this is a new Netflix series produced by Nickelodeon. Much like how 12 Forever was for Cartoon Network on Netflix. So it's just been released earlier today, and I highly recommend this series. There's like 9 or 10 episodes on Netflix right now, so I highly recommend you check this out. It's a great series so far. Great animation, great action, great characters, great music, and just overall good series that's like, you know, I highly recommend this to a point where I'm just gonna say it's gonna be possibly one of the better Nickelodeon shows out there at the moment, because let's face it, outside of La House, the Casa Grandes and shit, and SpongeBob, you know, there's not much for Nickelodeon these days. Because if you see, but yeah, I won't really get into that. But so yeah, So, yep, that's my review of Glitch Text. And yeah, I highly recommend it. And this has been the Okinawa Kid, and I'll see you later.